good. Awesome. What do they call it? Observe protocol. Welcome to the Side Sessions podcast. My name is Sai Jones, and today I feel like the stars and the moons are aligning. They somewhat said it's like happy season, so I decided that it's about time that I have superstar DJ producer Lebza TheVillain on the pod today, and I'm so excited to have you.
Yeah.
There I go.
Yeah. I'm super excited to be here.
Oh man.
I like what you're doing. I like how the podcast scene is growing. You know, for me it's very interesting because people have taken the liberty to create, and that's the most important thing for anybody. I was told that you never make money off of your hard work. You make money off of your creations.
That's also what rich people and investors believe as well. They usually say if you want to be rich, own something, create something, no matter what it is. Welcome to the pod, Lebza TheVillain. Welcome
Side
to the
Sessions.
pod. Yes. Say that one more time.
Side Sessions. It's like those 350 ads. Side Sessions. I'm exposing my age.
350. Look at me doing the same.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm so happy to have you here. Mainly because I've been wanting for us to do this, but at the right time.
Sure.
And so after the series of episodes that I did, I was like, man, this feels like the right time for me, because I wanted to engage with you, not only with your mind, like I said, because I want to know what your philosophies are in the music, and you're very opinionated, but because of where we are sonically as South Africa right now. So I wanted to engage with you on all of it. So let me first start here. Lebza TheVillain.
What? Yo.
You're not going to ask me what that means.
Yeah, because Xhosa can get very hectic for me. So that means when last did I see you? Yeah. Now, I think it was like we did Kentari together.
Yeah, for me it was Kentari.
Yeah, Kentari times where it was Thursdays, ne?
It was Thursdays
and
Wednesdays.
Yeah.
And Wednesdays.
Yeah, so we were all DJing there. I mean, Kentari is one of the venues that played a very important role in a lot of people's careers and exposing a lot of young talent.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like there were like careers that were launched in Kentari.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So
Heiki.
yeah, and I feel like those kind of venues are very important for the culture because they expose that young guy or that new kid or somebody who's very passionate about music and making music and doesn't really have the platform to expose the music to the people. So I want to know, because when you came in, when you came through, you were still at Y at the time. You were still at Y at the time. And in my mind, when I met you, I was always asking myself about who the hell convinced Lebza to come and do Kantari with me also. It was Ayanda MVP. You know, Ayanda MVP played a very important role in a lot of people, actually, in putting a lot of people on at Kentari. And for her, it was, here's a guy who's really passionate about what he does, very skillful, and we need like Aisha mangeng ukutshela manga noma bangathi DJ manje noma bangathi masidlaleni manje. Like if they say, guys, let's start DJing now, I'm ready. You know, so, and she was like, yo man, I've got a platform, you know, you can earn something from it as well. Pull up to Kentari, come play. And I was exposed to a lot of people. I met a lot of good people, a lot of young creatives, and it was history from there.
Did you have a good time there? Because by the sound, look, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I'm not sure how to read you right now.
Yeah,
because right now you're sounding too correct. Sounding too correct.
I had a
great
time.
Did you have a great time?
I had a great time.
Because
at Kentari.
I don't like how you left. But I don't know if
yeah, no, I had to leave because, I
don't know how you left.
No, I left because I was, I'm the kind of person that knows when to leave.
Sure, okay.
I'm the kind of person that knows when.
Skill.
Yeah, you need to know when to leave, guys. Like, you need to know when to leave platforms. You need to know when to let go. You need to know when to step up to the next level. Because what happens is you end up becoming very complacent in one space where you've cracked it, bro. Like you've done well. You know, what more could you do? People know Gutsi when you play you're gonna kill it. People know Gutsi when you play on Friday you're gonna be dope. Like what's more? What can you do that's more? That's great. And I'm always the kind of person that challenges myself to say, okay, I've done this. Bantu babonile ukuthi I can do it. People have seen that I can do it. What more can I do? And that's what makes you a better artist and a better person moving forward, because you're constantly trying to chase your inner greatness. Now I started like intensively gymming now. So my trainer says to me, I need the beast in you.
The beast.
Like there's a beast in you that you are taming.
Yeah.
And you need to make sure that it comes out at some point.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel with greatness, right? There is greatness in every single person, but you are not going to get to that level of greatness if you keep yourself in a comfortable position. You need to be uncomfortable.
I agree.
Yeah.
Wait, is that the same with Y?
Yeah, no, definitely. It was the same with Y. I mean, I did Y for 5 years, you know.
You did Y for 5 years.
5 years I was mixing.
Our Fridays.
Every-
Lebza TheVillain. Lebza, we want to party.
You know what I mean? Like, so it's after 5 years you look at where you are and you realize, Joe, I'm killing it. I'm good, sharp. What more can I do? Because it's no longer exciting after a while. A good dancer needs to know when to leave the dance floor. So if you're not gonna leave the so oshayili vosho yakho blind bakubonile, and then what's next, bro? You know, so leave and put yourself in uncomfortable positions so you can see what you are actually capable of doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're sounding too politically correct right now. I mean, I don't hate it.
Yeah.
I don't hate it. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I'm here for it. I'm here for people who know their story.
Sure.
Really, because that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to also just tell your story, but not in the boring type of way.
No,
So,
I don't think it's a boring type. I think if you were to really just sit down with me on any other day, this is the kind of Lebza you'll get. Like if you really talking to me.
That's what I know. I mean, I'm like you're energetic, you're clever, you're witty. You've got your words together, and I'm just wondering, is that something you had to learn at some point, or is that who you always been?
Yeah, no,
Both
this is who I've always been, bruh.
And
Like,
you're confident AF. I love it.
yeah, no, this is who I've always been. Like because I'm not a person who speaks a lot. Also,
Yeah.
young Tola, like you really.
No, Lebza, why are you lying?
Yeah, no. I'm saying in terms of expressing myself in this mannerism.
Okay.
You know, you really have to be in my circle or know who I am really in order for you to understand how I really think and how I speak and how I feel about myself and how I view myself to the world.
Are you more observant? Because that's the opposite, I guess.
Yeah.
If you're not here, you're here.
No, but that's how you learn, right?
Okay.
Shut up, just shut up.
Just-
Shut up and look around. You're gonna learn a lot. Keep quiet and like ask yourself, when I got to Kentari, most of the times when we had meetings, I was quiet.
You were quiet. No, you were very quiet. You were very quiet,
Yeah,
actually.
because you need to learn who's the decision maker in the room, who's the hype man, who's acting like they know but they don't know.
Hey, you actually...
You know what I mean? Like
Hey.
just pick up people.
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
only way for you to understand that is for you to just keep quiet and
And
observe.
what? Hey, you are, you know when they say unlocking memories, hey, you're unlocking a
Yeah.
memory. You're unlocking a memory. And when you said you must look at who's running things, who's the hype, who is just...
Yeah.
Oh, you unlocked a memory, actually. Damn. Kantara is great.
Yeah, no, Kentari was amazing. Yo, the Kentari memories is crazy. Like leaving at 7 a.m. in the morning, Nikatel, abantu baya Espanin, you guys are going home. That was fun.
Yeah. I usually say, there's a friend of mine who usually tells the same story of where she used to come to Kantara on the Wednesday. She's like, every time I came to the club with you, I just... I'm not gonna say the friend because
Yeah.
I don't want her name to be ruined in the
Got you,
streets
yeah.
because she's a corporate girl. She usually says that she used to say that I left the club and from the club I went straight to work.
Yeah.
At some point I drove this girl to work. I dropped her off and I was like, boy, I'll call you around 12. Check on
Yeah.
you.
No,
Guys, Kantari.
it's been like one of those those party scenes.
Oh man.
And I remember I also used to do a 9 to 5 when I was at Kentari.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I would also leave the club and go straight to work because it was
man.
late.
Your life was lit, actually.
Yeah, no.
Your
It was
life
nice.
was
I
lit.
enjoyed it, man. I enjoyed it. Yeah.
By rock star.
Hey, sure. Kwamele ukuthi you have to enjoy the rock star in you at some point in life.
Uba rock star.
Exactly.
Rock star.
Yeah.
And you know, funny enough, I know even though Nekdala, it's one of the things where I remember when I met you, I was like, this guy has his head on his shoulders. This guy doesn't just talk for the sake of talking.
Yeah, no.
Like,
Yeah, I think for me it's just like sometimes you don't have to say much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you don't have to say much, and especially in the club scene, bro. Like don't try to speak to people about yo, ziyawa ngapha when you want to present an idea. No, dog. People are here to have a good time. Just like have a good time, and so khulumezinge later. Don't say much.
but I won't lie, sometimes you read as tense.
Yeah, because you know why? Umuntu ochatarach or people that like are very bubbly.
Watch your words. I'm joking.
You know exactly what I'm trying to say. Somebody who's bubbly and somebody who's energetic and somebody who's like their personality is about like very loud. People who are calmer than them come across as tense because that's not the energy they used to, right? They used to, I'm loud, I'm in the room, I'm here, hello, hi, whatever. And then they meet somebody who's, hi. The energy just goes to, and then, woo, loputi. You know, I'm scared of that guy, and it's not even like that. I'm just not like you, you know. And it takes a bit of time for me to open up to environments and people.
No, but
And
also-
I'm not tense.
But don't get me wrong, like none of that is me, by the way. Like I hate
We
how
hope not.
whoever he painted is not this girl. Whoever
hope not.
you painted is not this girl. No, I just remember looking at you and throughout the years as well, being so inspired by you, being so inspired about how you put yourself out there, and being so inspired about who you deliver on the table. Because Nakumula, when did you start Night of the Villain, Konje?
Yo, I started that like if it's 2022 now, maybe 2018, 2017.
Yeah. And that was was it before or after
Yeah, it was during Kentari.
During Kentari.
Yeah, it was during Kentari.
Because when I watched you do Night of the Villain, I was like, what the F is this? What is driving this guy who just decided to go and say, F all of y'all, I'm just gonna do my own show, make it a big deal. Like what was going through your mind during that time?
It was really for just to give you a bit of context,
Please.
Night of the Villain is it's a musical experience that I created for myself as Lebza TheVillain. And at the time was because I was building myself in the game and building myself in the industry, and I realized that you need to have value as a brand. You know, you need to be very valuable, and most of the people that start doing stuff is that you want people to book you, you want venues to pay for you, but you haven't really shown the kind of value that you bring to the table. So now I needed to create value for myself. So I wasn't getting as many bookings and gigs. So I was like, let me create something that can show other people that I am capable of pulling people. I am capable of being talented around my own people first, my crowd. And then so that it's easier for them to say, no, if we book Lebza, siyazi ukuthi there might be one or two people who come here because of him, because they know him through something, or he might just get some new people through our venues. But you need to create value, you know. So that's how I created Night of the Villain, to say, let me create a concert around me to show people that I am a valuable member of the game, and let people book you because they can see what you do. You have your own kind of like CV to show what you actually do by yourself.
But what I get, did that come from a point of frustration, or just from a point of saying, I want, how do I put this? I want the value asset of it to come from my own mind, my own intellectual property, as opposed to saying that these people don't see me, I'm frustrated, let me go ahead and just do my own thing.
It had very little to do with anybody else but myself. The truth is, right, People need to be honest with themselves.
100%.
Be honest with yourself. How hard are you really going, bro?
How hard are you really going, bro?
Like you're like, let's go hard, but how hard are you
hard
really
are you
going?
really going?
And you're gonna, if you're really honest with yourself, you're gonna realize and say, dog, I'm actually lazy. Eh? You're gonna be like, I'm actually
not
lazy.
doing anything.
So you need to be very honest with yourself and tell yourself, look, I'm not doing enough. You know, how do I do enough? How do I get to a point where I'm working constantly on myself, on my brand? I'm constantly putting myself out there. And once you reach that point, you reach a very point of maturity. Because it's not somebody coming to you and saying, Sai Jones, you're not doing enough. It's you sitting by yourself, looking in the mirror and saying, hey Joe, I'm not doing enough. You know, how do I level up? For me, this has nothing to do with anyone else, to better my own life. You know what I mean? And that's where the problem is. A lot of people don't introspect. And I do that a lot. I sit down with myself a lot and say, how's the DJ? Is it doing better? Do I need to go back practicing? Do I need to go back and put in the work? Or how hard am I going for my brand? Am I putting myself out there? Am I working hard enough? You know, and sometimes I think people would measure what's happening on the socials as them going hard. Because I've got 50,000 followers, 100,000 followers, 200,000 followers. Hey, I'm doing well. I'm going. No. Sometimes it's not based on that. Sometimes it's actually like on some, with my 5,000 followers, what am I giving those people?
Okay.
You understand? Like,
Yeah.
so you can't measure it based on your social media standards to say, okay, because I've got 100,000 people on Instagram, that means I'm going hard. No, bro.
But remember what perception does.
Yeah.
You for yourself, you want to introspect. Good, great for you. But the people who are perceiving are not thinking and looking the way that you're looking.
Yeah.
And to them, you're going in.
Yeah.
Like you're going in. Like you could have just received something from a silver platter and have 10 million followers the next day. To them, you are going in.
The issue is yes, that perception is there, but how do you manage the perception?
I'm not registering that.
You need to
what does that mean?
Perception management is a big thing in the industry, right?
100%.
Like that's why there's a phrase of fake it till you make it.
It works, by the way.
Yeah. So, but that's perception. That's perception management. So if people are perceiving me as popping, when you sit at home, are you really popping? Like when you speak to yourself,
are you not though?
when you have I'm saying when you have your own personal conversation with yourself.
But you have the illusion of popping.
Yeah, but you see, the illusion is the problem, because illusion is just something in disguise.
So let me ask you this then: looking at people who are in the industry, are they actually Are they popping because they're working, or are they popping because of illusion?
No.
No to it.
I think it's actually a thing of looking at from both sides, right? You're popping because you're actually putting in the goddamn work, and there are people who are putting in work with way less followers.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
They're putting in work, and like for instance, I'll give you a guy who's on Twitter cleaning every Sunday. You know that guy that's always cleaning every Sunday on Twitter?
No, I don't know.
You haven't checked it out.
No,
so
that's why my social media is weird.
Yeah,
guys,
I just forgot his name. But like that guy is basically has positioned himself in a way of saying, this is how I pop. This is me. I work very hard to attract certain brands to me because of what I do and because of the work I do. So I think we need to just be mindful of the fact that you just need to manage both sides of the coin, and also be very honest with yourself. Is my social media hype really the work that I do? Because hype on social, ama retweet bangaknika sis. Bangaknika, ungatrenda kusasa. You understand? But it's what you do with the trend after that.
I love your perception on this. I'll tell you why. Because it makes you you sound like you believe in the authenticity of people.
I do.
You do.
Like,
you sound like you do.
You here's the truth, guys. Mabangati, let's look at this scenario. Mabangati kusasa, let's say they say tomorrow, all social medias are off. Who's still the model? Who's still the DJ? Who's still the podcaster? Who's still the radio presenter? Because it's easy to go on social media and say, I am a model or I am a DJ.
Yeah.
And that's what I do. But if they switch off all those platforms
those
tomorrow,
platforms.
who's still really doing that job?
Yeah.
You understand?
I like this outlook because I was talking with Swizz on one of the episodes. So he said that, and I don't disagree, that the side of social media and how everything is perceived is an issue. Because it's there, the fact that it's there, and that it creates an unfair advantage for people who are actually working versus people who are not. And let me say, are selling brands, selling pretty, are selling something else as opposed to selling work and talent. I don't know what your opinion is on that.
I think what we also need to be just very careful about is that this thing is here to stay.
The social media thing?
Yeah, we are not gonna lose it, or
It's
just
here to stay.
Yes, there are people who have mastered the art of the algorithms, people who have studied how
Bruh.
this works. You understand?
Yeah.
There are people who have done that. Like they literally went to school or maybe sat down and educated themselves on how this thing really works, and they've put enough time on that thing. So you also cannot discredit people because
Never.
of the social media hype that they get. But it's balanced between what you do online versus what you really do offline.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
Because online, I feel like we're all just selling. We're all just selling something. We're selling ourselves. We're selling the brands. We're selling the crafts. We're selling the creativity. We're selling, and we're just making sure that because now the world is at their fingertips, that as many people get to see what we are doing on social media, rather than the past where a lot of people had to kind of read about you in the newspaper or see you on TV. Now it's like I can go on social media, see a podcast and be like, oh, I like this. I'm gonna go now. I'm a fan. I've been converted. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's just we can't shy away from it, guys. Just find the balance.
Find the balance.
That's
Find
what
it. I'm still trying to find a way to use it because you'd think I'm great on social media because people associate it with how you look.
Yeah. But the issue is this, right? There are many people who can help us in making sure that our social media presence is visible
No,
enough.
true.
You understand?
The funny thing about that is that I'm a control freak, so I need to let go of, because I'm a control freak. I wanna
You need to-
micromanage.
Yeah.
Because I'm a perfectionist
Yeah.
in my brand.
Yeah.
So I need to let go of that. You must link me up with somebody who can work hard.
Well, I mean, if you can let go,
If I can let go.
because I think what also gives us that thing, Oguti, we don't want to let go of many things, that we've met so many people or we've heard of so many stories where people who are working with certain people are not authentic towards them.
That is my
You
fear,
understand?
inauthenticity.
Yeah. When they're not authentic towards them, and they don't have your best interest at heart. So you find it very hard to let go of what you've worked on so hard by yourself that somebody takes it and works on it and moves it forward. But if your dream is literally big enough, you're going to understand that you won't be able to do it alone. Your dreams have to be extremely big to know that I can't do it by myself.
This is sounding like church.
Hallelujah.
This is sounding like church. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
So when Lebza, tell me, do you know how people perceive you? Do you have an understanding of how the sun? Do you understand how people are perceiving
Yeah, no,
you?
but I think I'm happy that the sun is out to play because
Yeah,
you're
same
winning.
though, but yeah,
Yeah,
same.
So let's wear the shades now and let's look good. You know what I mean? I think perception is something that is an individual thing as well as it's something that you want to put out. So you can say I want to put out my perception as this kind of person, and then when somebody else sees it, then they have a different perception of you because they formulate how they see you in their own minds. It's like radio, right? When you hear a voice on radio, because your mind is like theater, you will create how that person looks in your own head. But the same voice would look different from me when I create in my own head versus Cy Jones's head. Until we see the guy who was on radio, who's a short motherfucker, and you're like, oh, we thought this guy was
He was a
tall and he
tall
was big. So as much as you try to control it, people still have a way of creating their own perception about you.
But I ask you,
Yeah.
ukuthi wena,
How do I
how
think
do you
people-
think people perceive you? And you also mentioned the flip side of it
Yeah.
as well. Ukuthi, what are you trying to put out
Yeah.
in terms of Lebza TheVillain? And do you feel like people are perceiving what you're putting out?
I think I wanna be perceived as the most consistent brand, you know, creative brand, and I also wanna be perceived as a very fearless brand, somebody who's willing to take a shot at something that no one believes in, you know, and get it right, no matter how long it takes. I wanna just get it right, you know. I think those are the kind of perceptions that I put out there. You know, I don't know how people perceive me, but me, I want to be seen as somebody that is consistent. Number one, somebody who still creative, still good at what he does, and very fearless. And angnanda ukuthi abantu bathini.
Have you Googled yourself, by the way?
Not recently.
Do you want to try? When was recently? When was the most recent?
Like maybe 2 months ago.
Oh, no, that's pretty recent.
Yeah, when I was trying to
You-
check out how the EP is doing and stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Also, like, we'll get to that.
Oh, well.
Because do you like what you see there?
I like what I see.
You like what you see?
Yeah, I really like what I see. Do you like what you see about yourself?
I've never Googled myself.
Okay.
After this, I will try and then see what's there about me. Hopefully, the podcast comes out. I don't
Yeah.
know. But I also have a thing about the podcast where I don't want people to know my full involvement.
In the podcast.
Yes. In
So
the-
you want to be seen as like the face
no
and
that's-
somebody who's not
I want-
control freak. Because you said you're a control freak and it's
No, I am. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually work hard on this thing.
that's good.
I actually work hard on this thing. So let's okay, cool. So I actually don't know your I know you probably get asked this a lot, your musical timeline journey. I don't know when you started DJing, producing. I actually have no idea.
Okay. So you
Before
know
I
yeah,
ask my question.
before you ask the question.
Yeah.
Essentially for me I've always been told that your musical journey starts obviously when you decide to do something.
Yeah.
But that's not when you started to be a professional.
Sure,
You understand?
sure, yeah.
So, for instance, I started DJing when I was 13, right?
How long ago was that? Just so we do the.
It was long. It was long. It was long ago. About 6-7 years, you know, and essentially that's when I decided that I love doing this thing.
Sure.
But professionally,
Professionally.
it's only been like 6 years ago
I get
when
you.
I started my commercial
Your
break
commercial
into
break.
radio,
I get you.
into playing on YFM. That's what gave me the professional status to say, okay, now you are moving as a professional DJ. Like ousadlali nje for the fun or for the passion. Now it's like looking at it from a business perspective, from a branding perspective. So yeah, I think just about 6-7 years ago, that's when I started professionally.
Professionally consider yourself professional DJ,
Yeah.
producer.
Yes.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I see. Okay, that was a great breakthrough for you then.
Yeah, no, it was. It just took somebody to believe in me, you know.
Sure.
Stapora at the time was the programs manager
Yeah.
at YFM, and he was already working on his idea on what he wanted the station to look like. And I think one of his greatest decisions was having me on YTK on Fridays.
No, true
You know?
though.
Yeah.
Outside of Aiching, true. Because when I thought YTKO, you were the first person whose face comes into my mind. Because to me, it's like, I don't know who was... I don't know how it started
Yeah.
or what the thought process was behind it, but as a DJ, a YTKO, it just made sense.
Yeah. So I think YTKO started with 5 amazing DJs. And remember, YFM didn't have mixes for a very long time, you know. So when it came back and had mixes on, it was Josie Chavez, it was Jasmo on Monday, it was Miss Cosmo on Tuesday, it was Josie Chavez on Wednesday, it was DJ Zandy on Thursday, and it was Shims on Friday. it was the most electrifying experience on radio, 6 p.m. drive time. It was amazing, right? And I think as the market that was listening to why Inenekazi, somebody from Tembisa, Alex, or East Rand, somewhere West Rand, if you were an aspiring DJ, that's the platform you wanted to be on, you know. Luckily for me, I was interning at Y at the same time when that started. So I was there with our Shimza almost every Friday with Waras. You know, for me it was like, oh, one day I'm gonna get this. One day I'm gonna get this, and I didn't know how I was gonna get it, but I was always manifesting it. And when I got it, I was like, it's gonna be the one thing I know. I put my best foot forward every Friday, because one thing about DJing and or anything really about your creative, you're only as good as your last attempt.
Not true story.
No one will say, "Hey, dog, last week you were hot. This week you're pop." No, they say you're pop because this one
were
was
pop
pop.
this
You know,
time.
so you're only as good as your last attempt. So I always had to make sure that my attempt was great every single time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's crazy.
I mean, look, sometimes I forget that, not that I forget, but I got to Joburg around 2016.
Sure.
Yeah, so in my mind, I'm still a baby.
Yeah, got
Joburg.
you,
Yeah.
yeah.
So whenever somebody paints certain visions for me as to certain things that you try your best not to miss, and then I love hearing people inform me. I love getting informed.
Sure.
I love getting informed. I love hearing people tell their story. I love hearing people tell other people's stories, just so they can fill this library. Because I
Got you.
believe I'm a library
Got you.
of
life,
stuff.
yeah.
I believe of. Let me say, like you have your way and what you want people to perceive you as, and my way and how I want people to perceive me is that girl who was commentating in the music journeys of musicians, that girl
Gotcha.
who commentates on music, the girl. But anyway, that's a story for another day. This is not my show. Well, it is my show, but
It is your show. No, I like
But,
perspective.
yeah.
So it paints a lot of perspective into. And remember, it is not only I that you're having the conversation with.
Yeah,
You're having
no,
the
no,
conversation
we're
with the
having a
person who's
yeah.
watching right now, and
Yeah.
they want to understand as to what's the goal and what's your idea
Yeah.
of doing this podcast. And if that's where you headed, then at least somebody will share the same vision.
Yeah, I'm very passionate about this thing. Yeah,
Got you.
I'm very passionate about this.
Yeah.
I'm very passionate about getting to know people, get to know their music, get to know their journeys, just so other people can feed off of you guys and be inspired.
Yeah.
By not just like how you guys want them to perceive you on social media, or how, let me say, you want to perceive us on social media.
Sure.
They need to hear you speak and
Yeah.
whatever the case may be. Okay. So tell me something, Lebza. You mentioned your EP, yeah? I did it. It's the Nanini.
Yeah, Nanini.
Nanini is an EP, not an album. Oh,
No,
okay.
it's an EP, yeah.
Okay. Nanini, and before that you did
House 116.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
before that,
It was Fearless. There was an EP called Fearless.
and these have been, and was House 116 an EP or an?
They were all EPs.
But
I've never dropped an album.
Why also? Why? Why drop an EP as opposed to an album, by the way?
I think that it's just a different structure in the body of work, right? For me, the EP is usually just short tracks in a project that I want to introduce to people and let them know this is where I'm at right now. And an album is usually like longer, more tracks, and something that's like that you've put your heart and soul in a body of work that you want people to show. Yo, I've got these 12 amazing songs that I've worked on, you know, and the structure of it is different from me just doing short little tracks and just making sure that I introduce them to the people and introduce who I am. And this is now I'm established, you know, I've got an album and I want you guys to hear it. And that's how I see it.
And you know, because honestly, these EPs have different sounds.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, I'm a creative dude.
What's the story with
yeah,
that?
I'm a
actually?
creative. They all have different sounds, but they're all governed by fundamental elements.
Which
They're
are?
all musical.
Okay.
They're all dance.
Okay.
And I'm a dance DJ.
Yes.
You understand? Yes. So they're all musical and they all dance. Because in every single thing I do, I always say, can I put my song on stage with a band?
Sure.
That's how musical I want to get. To say, can I strip this song down and make it a band performance on stage? Every time I make music, that's how I think about it. You know? So I'm the kind of guy that also looks around and says, what's happening in the landscape right now around me? And how do I still identify myself as an individual, but also try to kind of like accommodate what's happening right now.
If you could paint a picture or use words to describe your personal sound, what would you say?
I'd say it's innovative.
Okay.
It's extremely musical.
Okay.
It's different, and it's a song that you can play na nini na, meaning anywhere, anytime you can play a song. That's why it's called nanini, right? Anywhere, anytime.
Guys, sorry.
What does nanini mean in cause?
Na nini na.
Yeah, exactly. So we cut the na out and we just say nanini, dog.
I mean, look, I wasn't
Like,
even.
listen to the second track, right? Where I've got Nkosazana and Azana. When Nkosazana says, nanini, nanini, mina ngizohlala nawe, which means anywhere, anytime.
Okay.
I got you.
You talked to that. Is that the description for Nanini?
Yes.
Or because I
But
want
that's also
the
that's
description-
also for all the songs that I make.
in general.
Yes.
Your personal sound is
Yes.
this. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because when I won't lie, when I listened to Nanini, it came as a shock to me.
Yeah.
Because it came as a shock to me because I was like, oh, flip, okay, different from what I'm used to Lebza, you know, putting out as a DJ, putting out as a producer, you know, because I was like, did I box Lebza into Afro?
That's my issue.
Did I box Lebza into Afro?
That's my number one issue, bro. Like, can I please not be boxed? Because I don't believe anybody is one-dimensional. No one deserves to be boxed. Painters, artists, singers, you know, even people in business, bro. There are businesses that rebrand and feel like they need to take on new strategies to move forward. And let it not be an issue when Lebza does it. Everybody's been rebranding. Restaurants shut down and renovate and do new couches and new paints all the time. So this is why I say I look at this as a business. I'm not just... It's a business, bro. How do you rebrand? How do you restructure?
But-
How do you keep yourself exciting? And remember, there's new markets all the time. The Cy Jones who's attached to the Lebza that used to be something is not going to be the Cy Jones that I want to talk to now. There's those new kids there in high school, those grade 8s there that are jamming to something different that I want to communicate to. You understand? I want to bring them into my world, my way. Hence, I will not sound like somebody else. I'll still keep the Lebza identity, but I will reach out to new markets.
But then, what's your take on the creative process, for instance? Because you're talking a lot about it's a business, marketing, business, great, yeah. So what's your take? Because we all, business and the creative process sometimes do this. Because I watched a show called Syrup. It says something about creatives versus marketing, whereby one fills the gap in the market. But it's harder to sell something creative because it sometimes does not fill the gap in the market.
So I think I actually have a good answer to that. Your creation might not make sense right now in this time zone, but it can make sense 10 years from now. And that's the one thing about creating. You create property. You create a commodity that... Do you know some researches in science that were done 10 years ago did not make sense for that time zone? But when they look back to certain scientists right now, the research they did 10 years ago makes sense right now. Let me bring it back to music. DJ Cuba, the producer. Go listen to the music he made 4 years ago. That guy was way ahead of his time. He was already sounding like he was just there, right? Because his creations did not make sense at that moment. And it's okay if people don't understand what you're creating right now. But when years go by and your creation starts making sense to people, that's where you're going to realize that your creation is not just like it didn't go down the drain. You understand? So the creation process and the marketing and the selling process sometimes does clash. Yes, we understand
All
that.
the time.
All
Most
the time.
of the time.
Most of the time. But it doesn't mean that either of them doesn't make sense. They're both necessary.
No, I hear everything you're saying, Lebza, but I just want you to help me understand how you feel like your creative process does not clash with the business marketing side of everything.
It does. It always does. It'll always clash. Like you said, your creative process sometimes will clash with what's going on or how the market perceives you. You understand? Or how the marketing and the business side of things are. It's okay, dude. Like, there are certain sounds that didn't make sense to most people last year that make sense this year. I'll give you an example. Bacardi from Pretoria was a very big sound in Pretoria.
Yeah.
You understand? But it didn't make sense to other parts of Africa. I mean South Africa.
It doesn't make sense to me.
Until Amapiano came.
I'm not the target market.
Yeah, but now we're speaking on a broader spectrum.
I get you, yeah,
understand?
100%.
When Amapiano came, it also shed some light on Bacardi. You understand? So some creations might not make sense in the moment. They'll make sense later, and it's fine. It's fine.
I mean, okay, maybe also it's my problem is that I take pride in the fact that I have a keen sense of. I won't lie to you. I know a future classic when I hear one.
Got you.
I know a future classic when I hear one. But that also, I don't know if that spoils me into... That spoils me, rather. Into shifting, shuffling music and also understanding what you're saying right now. When you mentioned Cuba, what's the name of the album with his face on it? Yeah,
yes.
Is the one you're talking about
Awakening.
with his face on. Yeah, listen to it. I was like, for me, it sounded like this electronic sound that will, of course, like you said, but to me, it made sense.
Yes,
it made sense to me.
Because remember, your mind functions different.
Probably.
You understand, from other people, and then only like a couple of years later we say, but Cuba's doing this sound.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always like that.
So what do you say now then to people that have decided to box you in that Afro sound?
I'll say Ezakules.
Ezakules.
Ezakules, bro. I am not governed by you and your status. And Ezakules, dog. I've decided to move, and it has done wonders for me. I've decided what I want to do with my life. It's my choice, and if you are not happy with it, sure. If you are not happy, hard and pinchy, but sure. Until go find something else that's gonna make you happy, because currently this is what's making me happy. And if kusasa, but it's a change.
Okay.
Life yami
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna be governed by how you think I should live. No. We are not gonna do this. This is life, and you do it once, and I do it for myself.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is that not everybody has the boldness of making decisions like that.
Because not everybody has the boldness of making decisions like that. Because I would assume it's because they cater to those 5, 10, 10,000 people. And those 5, 10, 10,000 people want to hear what they love from you.
Yeah.
What you've presented as your identity in music.
The crazy thing is this, right? When it came to piano, everybody else doing piano today was not doing piano before it was piano.
True.
Everyone had to change. Why is it a problem when Lebza changes? Why is it a problem when? Why is it not a problem? You guys listen to Drake. Drake can jump on any single sound he wants because he wants to explore himself as an artist. But when Lebza changes, you're changing.
You're changing. Did people have a problem and some Lebza? Who are you?
But it's also people who do nothing for you. The people who really care about you and your craft will always advise you to always go for what you feel is right.
What you
I can tell
feel
you now.
is right.
Yes,
Okay, that's
always go for what you feel is right for you. You know, because essentially for me it's like I've spoken before making a switch and adapting and doing other things. I've spoken to other people who know me for a certain style and certain sound, and they were like, Ntwana, if you feel like it's something right for you, do it. Just make sure that you always keep your identity.
Okay, but I see, I think my confusion is, where is your identity if you're always shifting and changing?
My identity is in creation.
In creation.
It's in creation.
Okay, that's a solid point.
Yeah,
to
like
a
because
foundation. That's a
yes,
solid
because
foundation.
like it's like you saying, this is how a restaurant looks. 10 years from now, when I come back, this restaurant must still look the same. It must not renovate. It must not have new stuff on the menu. It must. If kusasa the whole world is vegan, all and people must adapt. Whenever you are saying these ones must not change.
It's an interesting opinion.
Yeah, because I don't give a fuck.
That's why it's interesting.
Yeah.
No, 100%.
Yeah, because
that's why
I
it's
care about
interesting.
I care about the most important person right here on earth right now, which is me.
I think that's the most, because I wanted to understand your mindset when it came to making all of the music that you've made. What exactly were your deliverables? What were you delivering? What were you thinking?
When it comes to creation, dude, like, I don't think too much about the creation process. I just put myself in a room with other creatives and we create what we feel at that moment. So it's energy driven than it is strategic driven. So for instance, I'm not gonna say,
are you sure? Why don't I believe you?
I wanna create as alcoholists.
I don't believe you. I don't believe a lot of people who say that.
Because you've never been to my music camps. That's why you won't believe me, because you've never been in an environment that allows you to see how I actually function. In January, I locked myself in the house for a week with a guitarist, literally an entire band. Other creatives came in and out every day of the week to come do what they feel creatively at that point. And there was never a point where I said to someone, that's not the direction I'm taking.
Okay.
It's a thing of let your energy drive you. And if this thing is dope, we put it out. If it's not dope, we make another one.
I get you.
Yeah.
I get you because as a person of energies, I understand 100% where energies can take you. And I think also there's this thing called multi-potentialites, and I think that's also what Mob wanted me to kind of touch on, because it says that like a multi-potentialite isn't restricted per se by their creative process. They just go with the flow and they do what is true to them.
Yeah.
And for me, I think that's the most important thing. If it's true to you, then that's the foundation. If it's true to your creative process, then that's the foundation.
And also, dog, like I feel like how I was raised plays a huge role in the kind of creations that I do right now. I was never raised with parents that told me that I can't do anything.
Are you a cheese boy, by the way?
What's that?
Grew up with money.
No.
Okay.
Thina sikhulele kasi,
You did
ngikhulela
say
Ivory Park
but
2.
doesn't mean I say, but you know, I don't know.
Ngikhulela Ivory Park 2 nomagogo. Then I went to Ebony Park with my parents.
Yeah.
So it's not really essentially about growing up with coins, you know, but I grew up with the essentials. I had the essentials. Umagogo had a spaza, where Nexasokoli, if I had to go to a trip yasaskela, because the snacks are in the house, you know, like we had essentials. But essentially, I didn't grow up with people around me that told me I could never do anything.
But don't get me wrong also, because I remember I'm here to prick your brain.
No. I'm well aware of that, and my brain has quite a lot for anyone to pick into.
And also, don't get me wrong. Me saying me just asking to you cheese boy. That's just a sideline question. You get me? It doesn't say you grew up privileged and that's why your energy is the way that it is. No, it has nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
Because you just
nice.
mentioned
It's just the mind.
principles that were instilled.
And it's also the mind. It's very nice to be surrounded by older people who are liberated mentally around you.
I wish I had that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't lie to you. I wish I had that. I built a liberation.
Yeah, so you're going too deep now.
Yeah, So, Mob director and also y'all know who Mob is by now. He's asking DJs and entertainers as a whole in South Africa tend to have to multitask or have a number of roles to make real money. 20K for DJing, 20K for radio, 20K for TV, 20K for brand deals, 20K for music, to make 100K a month that a lawyer or other professionals make. That sounds sad. In 2022, outside of the social media, what is the most effective combination of hats for a DJ to wear? All this appears to have some impact on the music that certain DJs make.
Well, I'm gonna just touch on the income side of things. So for me, I'm just gonna speak from a personal point of view. I went to school, bro, and I studied marketing, and I ventured into being a professional marketing practitioner, and I did a lot of brand work. I worked with a lot of brands, so I used my 9 to 5 to fund Lebza the DJ.
Sure.
You understand? So not everyone is as fortunate to charge that 20K.
Yeah, that's true.
For this.
That's true.
20K for that, 20K for that. So in some cases, especially when I had to build my brand, I was working a 9 to 5, month end, taking that money, printing t-shirts that are Lebza.
Yeah.
And then, printing Lebza t-shirts, taking the same money, going for photo shoots, taking the same money, buying equipment to make music. So, as much as it might look so easy to people that I charge 20 here, I charge 20 there, it's the most unstable thing ever, because it's not like I signed a contract where I'm making X amount of money and it's set in stone for every single month. Some months are good, some may be good, some may be shit, and it doesn't take away from what I want to create for myself and who I want to be. But I am happier with the instability of my dreams
I get you.
than I am with the stability of a 9 to 5.
9 to 5. I get you. And everybody has their own strategy. Your combination of hats at the current moment, what are they?
Of hacks.
Of hats. Like, what hats do you wear right now as a rock star DJ?
I wear.
What hats are you? DJ, producer?
Yeah, so I'm a DJ. I'm a producer. I do a bit of marketing work for some brands on the side, and I also teach people how to DJ.
Oh yeah. Okay,
so
which I guess it goes to the point where Mob also saying that it's in line for you as the DJ that you are right now, the kind of hats that you wear.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds like Lebza TheVillain world.
Well, I mean,
you created happiness for yourself.
That's the joy of it. You have to create your own happiness. Hey, this thing is life, dog. This thing is life, and it's your life, bro. Like, you're gonna be governed and held hostage by people's perceptions, and you're gonna die unhappy. Don't do that to yourself. Right now, we are in a space where it's so allowed to just go do the most absurd creative things and live off of that, bro.
Love it, yeah.
Like, back then, our parents couldn't do half of the stuff we're doing today.
True.
So don't be held by people. People will always chop, guys. They'll always chat. It's life. Do this, they'll chat. Don't do it, they'll chat. It's okay. But when you are alone, bro, and I always say alone because when you're alone is when you are with your own thoughts, when you look in the mirror. When you look in the mirror, what are you saying about yourself? That's what matters.
Have you, I just want to ask something, which have you found yourself in a position whereby you are unhappy about who you are?
Of course. Of course, I think it happens to everybody who's constantly trying to better themselves.
themselves, no?
Because why would you try to better yourself if you are happy with essentially with who you are? Sometimes it's about I'm not happy with where I am, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I was not happy with where my music was. I was happy with where the
When?
DJing is.
When?
Essentially, like
Essen-
before now taking the liberty of
okay,
making
like,
music
okay.
camps, of dropping
Sure.
music, of releasing music. I was always happy with the DJ side of Lebza, but I was never happy with the musical side of Lebza. I was always saying, dog, where's the music? Like, how many songs am I releasing? What am I doing? Where's the music video? Where's the EP? What are people listening to? I always used to say that to myself because I was at a point where I was trying to find how to properly structure the way I sound. You know, it happens to all of us. So I feel like I'm at a better place right now. You know, that's just that's the gist of it.
Okay, I love that actually. I mean, I think he's such a stickler for time. This guy, like,
Yeah, because I actually have a lesson to go
that's-
teach.
I get it.
So I'm like, hey, I'm looking at time.
Because you're like, it was 4:30, and you're like, let's start at 4:30, and then let's start at 4:30, and then Mob is like, because we're 3 minutes to 4:30. It's like, nah, let's start at 4:30. But okay, it's fine.
Yeah, no,
let's,
I'm like that. Another thing is how I was raised. My mom raised me to respect time, you know, because Ngihlale, but I'm schooling in halfway house, so I have to wake up at like 5 a.m. or 4 a.m. sometimes, make sure that I'm ready so that the transport my figure or 5:30 it takes me, and then it collects all the other kids at Kasi, then we go to school, then we are on time. If I'm late in that process, then kiletisa everyone else who has to be picked up, who probably is on time, right? So I had to learn, Gutsi, if I wake up at this time, I need to be ready by this time. Transport it and then Ravaya Raskel.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's how I respect
Let's
time.
do this then. Let's do this. Tell us quickly about Nanini.
Okay, so Nanini is an 8-track EP. It has a
I'm sure you've answered this question a lot.
well, I mean, I have to, you know.
Yeah.
The first track is an intro. The last track is an outro. Second track, Nanini, is a title track, features Musa Keys, Nkosazana Daughter, Azana, and TBO. And it's a body of work that I put together very passionately, and in that music camp that I was telling you about. It's doing really good right now. Well, since it has been released, actually. Nanini is my first project that has distributed by an international record label, which is called Empire from the USA, where they work with Asake, Fireboy, and many other dope artists like Benson as well. And it's a project that showed me that I need to take care of the music. Like it was one of those projects that said, you see, if you just do music and take care of the music will take care of you. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. I'm glad you went and did all of that, and that was actually essentially what I was looking for. So now to wrap this up, because I am sensitive of your time.
Aware. Thank you.
What is one thing that you would want to share to a young producer who looks up to a Lebza TheVillain right now?
I'd like to say that find elements within yourself that you can look up to yourself first before anybody else.
Sure. Is that all of it?
Yeah.
Put that on a t-shirt. Put that on a t-shirt. Oh my goodness. I need to let Lebza TheVillain go. Oh my goodness. Maybe we'll catch up again in 2023.
Yeah.
2023.
No one says it like that.
I know. That's why,
2023.
as I was saying it, it clicked that. Why am I saying it like that? Thank you, Lebza, for joining me on this session. It's a pleasure just to get into your mind. I feel like there's so much more I wanted to tap into, and we'll do that in 2023.
Yeah, definitely.
2023. Quickly, we're gonna tagline your social media, but for those who wanna hear you say it,
All social media platforms, it's at Lebza TheVillain. Yeah, everything. Zonke. TikTok even. I won't get.
flip. Yeah, that's true actually.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Lebza, for joining me, and see you in 2023.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
Science
Otherwise, this is the science session. Do that.
Science session.
Signing out right now. Mwah.